Pratt? Of course not. Let me ask you, Giovanni on KSFO, go to the Savage Nation phone line. Go ahead. What's on your mind, Giovanni?
Well, I'm on Twitter all the time, and you hear these tweets, but it sickens me that the taxpayer paid $100 million for the first family to go to Africa. And then she's saying she's not welcome in museums. If she goes to a museum, she's going to get in there, they're going to kick everybody else out, and she's going to go in there with the Secret Service. But my real gripe is against the power structure. That whenever a radio personality says, we support our troops, our police officers, our firefighters, whatever, these are the very same people that make up the power structure that goes all the way up to the...
I understand the generic complaint. I am sick to my stomach of Michelle Obama's comments that blacks are not allowed in museums, that they don't feel welcome in museums. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of Obama stirring up the masses, saying, burn, baby, burn. It's right out of the 60s. Look what he did in Baltimore. Now he goes to the Hispanics on Cinco de Mayo, and he says to them, be a revolutionist. What the hell has to happen? Does he have to come out with a machine gun on the balcony of the White House and shoot it in the air with a cigar in his mouth till you wake up like putzes? You putzes, you. You don't even see what the hell he is. The man has wrecked everything he's touched. But what's worse now is Hillary. She's moving to the left of him in order to make certain that the false Indian, Pocahontas Warren, doesn't run for office. Why is it that the Democrat Party is appeasing the radical left? They're not the majority of Democrats. How did a small band of academic psychotic vermin get control of the Democratic Party? How did a small band of psychotic, tenured professors and sick lawyers get control of a once decent, middle-of-the-road, working-class party? How did this happen? Do you not see the handwriting on the wall? Do you not see where this is leading? Do you not understand history? Do you not understand you have communist revolutionaries in the White House, in the media, in academia, and that it's a long time until they're gone? They've nullified the election we just had. Now, by the way, why is it that Boehner and McConnell are going along with everything Obama's asking for?
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Like museums and concert halls and other cultural centers, and they think to themselves, well, that's not a place for me. For someone who looks like me, for someone who comes from my neighborhood. In fact, I guarantee you...
That's Angela Davis Obama trying to stir up blacks into thinking they're not welcome in concert halls. What an insult it is to black people who are concert musicians, black artists, black intellectuals. What an insult these people are. How could you people not accept what I'm saying to you? This is vile. All right, let's take some calls. Nicole on WMAL, where my show is booming. Why is it my show is the biggest thing in Washington, D.C. on WMAL? Nicole, welcome to the program. Go ahead and make your point.
Thank you. I just think it's incredible, yet not surprising how one-sided white Americans can be. People of color, both indigenous and African descent, have had to be on the defensive side just for human rights still today. White Americans have always...
All right, I heard, so you don't like white America. So tell me an African-dominated nation where you would do better.
That's not true. I do like white America.
No, you just said this is a one-sided nation. The whites dominate and they're racist and they make you feel bad. Is there a nation that is ruled by black people where you might do better that I don't know about?
No, that's not what I'm saying. You're missing...
Well, that's what you just said. You have a grievance, so tell me where it would be better for you, where you'd feel more comfortable and a better opportunity. Might it be Liberia?
Museums. I'm a black woman, and I did not feel comfortable going to museums because I felt unwelcome. You want to know why? Because when I go there, I get stared at, I get looked upon, I get followed, I get, oh, what are you doing?
Well, maybe it's something about the way you're going in. What do you mean the way you're followed? What are you talking about?
When you go, okay, the museum, for example, I took my girls to the museum. Me and my husband took our girls.
So what do you want the museums to do? Tell me what would make you feel more comfortable. How would you feel more? What would make you feel more comfortable in a museum?
Just want human rights, just like everyone else.
I asked you what would make you, a black woman, feel more comfortable in whitey museums.
If I was left alone. in order to just look around just like everyone else. I don't need help. I know where I'm going. I don't need to be followed.
I don't understand it. What do you need done? Well, what's your grievance now? What do you want done? What has to happen? What, you need a special headphone to give you a tour? What is it you want? What are you asking for? I don't understand what you're asking for. What's the matter? The script wore out? The script that was given to you by some white communist ran out? I mean, I don't understand. I'm asking you, you're on a national radio show. You tell me you're a black woman who's uncomfortable in a museum. What is it that you want done to make you comfortable? Gone. The script is gone. The controller didn't have an answer. The guy behind her with the curly hair and the big eyeglasses from the ACLU didn't have an immediate answer. He gave her one cue card. The second cue card wasn't written yet for the next show. I never heard this before. This is a new one on me. That black people feel uncomfortable in museums. I never even paid attention to people. In fact, when I go to museums, I don't go to look at people. Incidentally. Maybe she went there to look at the art instead of worrying how people were looking at her. She wouldn't be worried about how people are looking at her. I've seen people in rags in museums. You know, I remember when I was a kid in New York, I was always a museum going, the natural history at the time. And then when I moved up to the Met and the Guggenheim and visited them, I would see people in rags. Rag pickers would come to the museum or would down on their luck or through whatever happened to them. They'd be in the museum studying fine art. I'm sure they felt uncomfortable too, but they came there to look at the art, not to worry about how the museum guard looked at them. They look at me, by the way, lady. Hey, lady, you're uncomfortable in museums because they look at you. You're a paranoid lunatic. Let me put it to you that way. Do you know that when I, a white man, walk around a museum, the guard stares at me, the Filipino guards in the De Young Museum? What do I do, go complain about it and tell him to replace him? That's his job, is to stare at people. Do you understand that? But you think he's staring at you, but he's actually staring at everybody. That's the job of a museum guard. But if you are paranoid, if you're by nature a paranoid schizophrenic, or if you are overly sensitive to your race or your height or your weight or you're gay or you're straight, you'll assume they're only looking at you. That's an extension, by the way, of your own paranoid feelings, because the guards look at everybody. The guard's looking at everybody, and she's a liar, that Michelle Obama, through and through. What a stone liar. She grew up in the South Side and was uncomfortable in museums. Don't you remember they put her on the hospital board? You remember that little story? This poor, oppressed minority girl was put on the hospital board. What'd they do that for? Because she was Albert Einstein? She made a discovery that no one else had discovered yet in medicine. They had to put her on the board. What a liar. Stop already with this big lie. It's sickening. WBAP in Dallas, Letta, this is a shocking story. Give me your opinion, would you please?
I think what she's saying is untrue. I grew up in the South Side of Chicago, and my mother was a single parent, and we went to the museum daily. That was something that we looked for because we liked a submarine exhibit. We liked to go into the coal mine. We enjoyed looking at the babies in the bottle. And then we would go on downtown. We would walk. We had a ball. It was wonderful. And
So what is Michelle Obama making a story up that she grew up on the South Side and she was one of those kids who was intimidated to go to the museum because she was a black lady? It's unheard of, Letta.
It is. It is unheard of, and that's just what she does. But we had a ball. It's the Museum of Science and Industry right on Lakeshore Drive. It was wonderful for us, and we had a...
Isn't that amazing? I don't understand how she could get away with this. Who does she think she is speaking to, Letta? You are obviously an African-American woman. You don't believe a word this woman says? Are you repelled by her?
No, I do not like her. I never liked them when they first walked across the stage. The South Side of Chicago was a wonderful thing. My brother worked at Jackson Park being a caddy. He made a lot of money, and we had a great time. Maybe that's what they were looking for, but that is not what we was looking for.
Amazing. Just a minute. You know, Letta, I almost give up with these two. Why do they continue this hatred towards America? Why? What are they after, Letta? What do you think they really want?
I think they hate America and they want to turn it around, and that's what they're trying to do. But there are a lot of black women and men out there that, especially my friends, do not care for them. I was in the military, and everybody I know in the military say no, no, no for them.
Unbelievable, Letta. It's sickening. I just don't understand how they get away with this. Actually, I unfortunately do understand it. I'm sending you a fresh copy, brand new, out next week, my novel, Countdown to Mecca, because obviously you're a literate woman who would enjoy reading a novel. It's a very thoughtful novel and very important. I don't think that Michelle Obama would be comfortable reading Countdown to Mecca, or I'd be happy to send them a complimentary copy. Now, I was a poor kid. I'm not going to sit on, I'm poor from the Bronx. I'm not going to go on and on with that. I was poor. I didn't dress well. I was always insecure about how I looked in white America. But I went to the museum. I didn't look like William F. Buckley Jr. with a curled lip from England. I didn't go to the museum looking like an English lord's son. I went with whatever I was wearing a pair of corduroy pants and a jacket, and I went to look at the art. I didn't pay much attention to my outfit. So where she's coming up with this is it gets even better. Clip 4, I didn't play it yet. You ready for this one? Hold your stomachs. Here it comes.
I know the feeling of not belonging in a place like this.
Oh.
And today, as First Lady, I know how that feeling limits the horizons of far too many of our young people. And that's one of the reasons why Barack and I...
Here. From the First Lady to the worst lady in one generation. She doesn't feel... She's giving a speech at the Whitney Museum. And she knows the feeling of not belonging in a place like this. Have I made my point? Do you accept what I'm saying? Did you feel excluded from museums as a child? Do you feel the gang problem in America is better or worse under Obama? Do you feel any speech should have severe limits? Do you think Pamela Geller should get FBI protection or Secret Service? Of course she should. But they threw her to the wolves. The NYPD said that she's on a hit list. And the FBI says, you know what? Screw her. She got what she deserved. So that's the country we're living in now. I'm not going to talk about a football. I don't know how anyone could do that. 3 hours of the show preceded me. I never heard anything like this. You talk about a guy ducking a tough topics. 3 hours about a football? I could see mentioning it if you're a sports nut. 3 hours on a radio talk show about a football? You talk about ducking and covering. My God, it's getting sickening. Everyone's afraid to talk about the topics right now. But I raised an issue before that I got to go back to. Why is Boehner, the drunk, going along with everything Obama does, like absolutely servile? McConnell bent over backwards to give him fast trade agreement, which even the Democrats oppose because it'll further destroy the job market in America. It will further hollow out our industrial capacity. McConnell is all for it because he's a sellout. McConnell, the Republican. Boehner, the Republican. Why are they to the left? I wouldn't say to the left of. Why are they doing Obama's bidding? They're aboard with everything. They already said that they will not repeal Obamacare no matter what happens. So in other words, they're part of his party. Why? Does anyone remember the FBI files that were stolen by Craig Livingston during the era of the Clintons? Do you remember what went on? They stole FBI files. I was told from a very high source that John Boehner's name is amongst those files. That's what I was told. I can't confirm or deny it. Now, many of you have alleged that there is some kind of blackmail going on of Boehner and McConnell to explain it. I actually don't believe that's it. I don't believe they need to be blackmailed. I think they're total, absolute sellouts who are nothing but front men for special interests. So what do you have to blackmail them for? What do you have to blackmail Boehner for? He already has the condo in Jacksonville. He's got the cases of booze lined up for the retirement. He's got the speaker fees. He's happy as as you can be. He's got it all lined up. He's like a guy in the police department who's ready for retirement and to cash in. He's like a fireman about to retire, ready to cash in. You think he cares about the fire department? He cares about how much he's going to milk the public for. That's all. So I don't think it's about a conspiracy with their blackmailing him. That he got a speeding ticket when he was a youth. No, I don't believe that's true. McConnell's the same exact thing. McConnell is a lobbyist for huge business interests, period. And if they can get cheaper labor, McConnell is for it. It's always the Benjamins, my savage friends. Don't look beyond the Benjamins. Follow the Benjamins. I'll be back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust to protect my wealth. Call 800-BUY-COIN. Now, the election in England will have